Good evening, Dr. Stacey here. Welcome to our Tuesday night Zoom. Happy New Year! First Tuesday night of the new year. I'm excited to start a new series with you all this evening. This is a four-part series on brain health. It's actually going to end up being an eight-part series because I'm going to have four parts that I'm going to share different things with you in regards to the brain and detoxing the brain and keeping the brain healthy and being able to do all the things you want to do. But after that, I'm going to be having another conjunction with that, I guess I would say, a four-part where I'm interviewing different doctors each week. So they will come on with me and they will talk about how they utilize the different technologies in their practice with their patients, specifically in the area of brain health. It's been a couple years since we did a series on brain health. We called it the neurological series back then. So a little bit different this time than that was. It was about 2 years ago, I think. So a little bit different, but I'm excited to share information with you. So just so you know, I'm not a medical doctor. If you're new to LifeWave, if you're a guest here this evening, I have a PhD in integrative medicine and a PhD in functional medicine. So I focus in the holistic alternative world of different modalities to help people bring their body into homeostasis, into balance, or keep it there if you're already there like myself. But know that the information I'm sharing tonight in regards to LifeWave is not intended to make any claims to prevent, cure, treat, or diagnose anything. Please check with your healthcare practitioner, your provider, your doctor, whoever's in charge of your medical care. If you have any questions about your medical care, prescriptions, medicines, anything like that, of course, they'll be able to help you best with that. And of course, if you're pregnant or nursing, if you're a child under the age of 18, consult with your physician before you have any interaction with LifeWave, okay? So with that being said, I am going to screen share because I want to do a PowerPoint with you all this evening to go over some of the key points of brain health. And so when I was coming up with this, I don't want to say I was coming up with this idea. It just popped in. I'll be honest with you. It was just like, okay, we need to help everybody with their brains. We need to help them to be able to function at optimal that they want to because I Zoom with a lot of people and they tell me they're struggling. They're struggling in a lot of areas with memory and cognition and focus and concentration and brain fog and processing and being able to handle multiple bits of information at one time. So our brains are a little fried right now, okay? But it's not their fault. So we want to stay sharp for life. And just so you know, the goal of this four-part series is not to shame people, to make people feel bad or dumb or stupid or not able to do the things, right, that some of us can, but it's to create understanding. And it's also to open a door for support.
I will help you quit your job and start earning an independent income today. You can call your boss right now.
So if this sounds familiar to you, we're going to go over these things, okay? It's explainable. So sometimes people tell me, I hear things, but they're just not sticking. They're not landing. Or they feel very overreactive, overwhelmed, just snap very quickly, get very emotional very quickly. Or they'll say, I can't remember what I just read, or what did you just say? Could you repeat that again? I can't remember what you just said. Or they'll say, I'm trying, but my brain is just not cooperating. And I can tell when I'm on the phone or on the Zoom with people, they're trying to get their words out, but they're just not processing. And so, I try not to complete people's sentences, of course, but be able to know that there is a frustration out there. And I have some tips and some strategies to help. So your brain's not overloaded, or it's not broken. It's just overloaded. Okay. So it's not about being dumb versus smart. It's not about who has the willpower or the motivation. And it's definitely not about age. You guys, I Zoom with some people that are in their 80s and 90s and they're sharp as a tack. So it's definitely not about the age. It's about the load versus the capacity. So there are 5 major contributing factors, and we're going to look at each of these over, the course of the next 4 weeks. But looking at chronic neuroinflammation. So know when I say neuro, I mean brain, but looking at that chronic brain inflammation, most people don't think about their brains being inflamed. You think of a brain, you're like, oh, CT scan or MRI, and that's kind of like the extent of it. Do I have a stroke or a blood clot or something like that? But they're not really thinking about just the inflammatory response in the brain. And then, of course, we all know about those constant dopamine spikes, right? From the phone, from the scrolling, from the notifications. OMG, the phones that are not on silent, the ones that ding constantly, the ones that ring blow my mind. In an airport, you hear a phone ring and you're like, wait, what? Is that phone ringing? We don't have phones that ring today. Can you imagine walking down the airport if everybody had their phone turned on, the notifications allowed, all the sounds, the beeps and the dings and the rings and everything? Oh no. But some people have their notifications set that way, and so it's constantly hitting the dopamine constantly in the brain. And then, of course, we did a whole series last year on longevity, and we talked about sleep, and we talked about poor sleep architecture, and we talked about good sleep habits and how to repair that. And then also people deal with parasympathetic nervous system versus sympathetic nervous system, meaning if you're in the sympathetic nervous system, you're in that fight or flight mode. And so a lot of people are stuck there, and they don't get any time to recover, any time to relax in the rest, digest, parasympathetic mode. And then you all know the environmental toxic load that we have out now is absolutely insane with our food, our environment, our water, the air. It's crazy. The EMFs, it's nuts. So what does this do to the brain? Well, it doesn't help you at all, that's for sure. But memory retrieval is going to drop. So I can't remember things. I can't remember the name. I don't remember which way to go, or why did I walk into this room, right? Instructions don't integrate. I need you to do this, 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 and this. Remember when you were a kid and you remember, kids you could give them one thing to do and they could go do it. As they got older, you could give them a 2-step thing to go do. Go pick up your shoes and then bring them in this other room and put them in the basket. They could do things in multiple steps as they got older. But we find now people aren't able to integrate multiple instructions, and emotional reactivity, as I mentioned, increases. They snap very quickly and focus becomes fragmented. So you're taking in information, but your brain is not processing it. So the brain decline is not all of a sudden, though, you guys. This is cumulative, and it's that way because of the inflammation. It's because of the lifestyle choices, and it's been happening decades before a diagnosis. So early signs really matter. So what's going to protect your brain long term? Well, reducing the neuroinflammation that we're going to be discussing, of course, supporting circulation and oxygenation, stabilizing your blood sugar, that deep restorative sleep, as well as clean cellular signaling. So this is prevention. It's not crisis care. So if you're having a stroke, don't ask me what patch to put on. Okay, if you feel like you're having a heart attack, don't message and say, hey, what patches? She's heading to the ICU. What should we use? No. This is not crisis situation. This is prevention. And this is also about helping the body get back into balance over time. Okay, because none of these things are going to be a quick fix. So your brain definitely does not need more stimulation. It needs less inflammation, better circulation, deeper sleep, and clearer signaling. And I'm going to bet that a lot of you on here would be saying, yes, I need all of that right now. So the calm is what's going to have to happen before the cognition is going to improve, before the memory is going to improve, before the processing time is going to improve. You're going to have to calm yourself, okay? And so before we add anything, we're going to make sure that add anything to the brain, we've talked about what's clogging it, okay? So this principle guides the entire series. So it's super important that you know that this is going to build on itself as we go throughout the next 4 weeks. So I want you to take a picture of this. This is a 3-minute activity that you can do every day. I do this multiple times throughout the day, honestly, and I have for years and years and years and years and years, because I understand how powerful it is and how important it is to reset my nervous system to that parasympathetic state. So whether you're sitting like she is, which I don't choose to sit that way because my hips don't like that as much, I like to stand with my bare feet on the ground outside in the grass. I do have a poodle and she likes to go outside a lot. So I take her out on her leash and I'll stand there with my bare feet out on the grass. And then I'll inhale through my nose for 4 seconds. That's not hard to do, right? Everybody can inhale for 4 seconds. And then just exhale through your mouth, letting it out for at least 6 to 8 seconds. And then keeping your eyes relaxed, not super focused on any one thing, but do that at least once or twice a day to reset your brain, to reset that autonomic nervous system. And maybe this is something you do more than 3 minutes or more than 2 or 3 times a day. Maybe it's something you do after every, Zoom call or after, every break you get at your job, whatever it may be.
Watch what bread does to your diet goals.
They're lying to you about whole wheat bread.
So this works because it signals safety to the nervous system. It's free. Didn't cost you anything to do it. You just got to do it, right? And you can do it standing in your house. I'm not saying you have to go outside and put your feet on your ice. I know it's snowing where Laura is right now in Montana, even though I used to ground when I lived in Indiana in the snow every night. Ice, snow, rain, mud, green grass, it didn't matter. We were out there grounding, weren't we, Laura? For years and years and years. It's nicer now that I live in Florida and it's always warm and, easy to ground. But no matter where you are, get those feet on the ground. This is going to signal safety to the nervous system. The breath is going to signal the safety to the nervous system. It's going to shift you out of a place of sympathetic dominance and into that parasympathetic nervous system state. And I'll be honest with you, when I'm doing this, it's not like I'm thinking of a lot of things, but I'm thinking of something, usually 1 or 2 things that I'm grateful for at the time. So when I'm taking these deep breaths, gratitude, if I'm focusing on anything, it's gratitude, because that's going to shift my nervous system. You can't be anxious, upset, frustrated, worried, mad, ticked off, blaming. You can't be any of that if you're in a state of gratitude. And that's going to improve your information processing. It's going to prepare your brain to learn and retain. And no supplements are required to do this. Again, it's free. So when the support tools matter, we're going to talk about some tools here. So once overload and inflammation are addressed, support tools are going to be your next best friend. So I can't fix your nutrition, your sleep habits, you even doing this exercise. Those are things you're going to have to do on your own. But I'm going to talk to you about cellular signaling, and I'm going to talk to you about stress modulation and repair pathways and antioxidant defense, because this is very relevant for your brain health. And if you want to go back to that 5-part longevity series I did last year on my YouTube channel, Trey has taken everything and put them into playlist on my YouTube. So if you go to Dr. Stacey and Trey, that's my YouTube channel's name, you go there and you touch the little button that says playlist. And I don't mean just type my name in and it pops up random videos. I mean actually go to the channel, type in the channel, go to the channel, and there's playlist and you'll find the longevity series. I go in depth on sleep, on exercise, on nutrition, on detoxing, on supporting the nervous system. So go back and watch that series if you're interested. They were each just 30 minutes long. But we're going to dive into these tools that are going to help your brain to be able to be its optimal. So we're going to talk a little bit tonight about each of these patches that benefit the brain in different ways. We're going to dive deeper into each of them individually at different times, but these are patches that LifeWave has created. David Schmidt is our owner of our company, the inventor of our technology. This is a 21-year-old company. If you're new to LifeWave, all of our patches look like this. They are all non-transdermal, which means they don't put anything into the body. Each of these patches you see here, when you put the patch on the body, a wavelength of light is reflected into the body. Our body's heat is the power source that activates the patch. And so that wavelength of light, depending on the patch, is going to be a different wavelength that's going to elevate a different peptide. These 6 patches elevate 6 different peptides. And again, we'll dive deeper into these as we go. But each patch is designed to be worn for 12 hours. You take that patch off after the 12-hour period and you throw it away. Okay, so it is not to be reused the next day. You would get up and you would put on a brand new patch the next morning. Each patch does not have to be worn. You don't have to wear each of these every single day. But we're going to talk a little bit in depth about each of them. But know that each patch can be worn just by itself, but they all can also be worn, or different ones can be worn to be work in synergy. Some are daytime only and some are nighttime only. So for example, the X39 and the X49, absolutely 100% daytime only patches. They're going to increase energy. They're going to increase brain energy, focus, concentration, physical energy. When we look at glutathione, I highly recommend that as a daytime patch. That is the biggest antioxidant that our body has. It's a tripeptide in our body, and it's your body's detox peptide, and it helps to reduce all kinds of toxin load in the body. So it's huge. But I wouldn't do that at night. When we look at Eon, carnosine, and Alavida, Alavida is 100% a nighttime only patch. It does elevate melatonin some. Most people use Eon at night because of their monkey mind. They can't shut off. And again, that sleep Zoom that I did really dove deep into that. But you can wear it during the day. I only wear my Eon during the day, but a lot of people only wear it at night so they can calm their nervous system at night so they can get ready for bed. But you can wear your Eon and your Alavida at the same time. Carnosine can be day or night, either one. Sometimes carnosine, people say they have, very vivid dreams. They feel like their brain is still going, like kind of like the Alavida, but I don't feel that way. But again, I always do mine during the day. So again, lifestyle, sleep, breath work, that all comes first. Like, you have to look at these areas of your life. And being the beginning of the year, I think we are all taking a look at our lives and going, what do I need to focus on? What do I need to change? What can I do to improve in different areas of my life? What do I want to commit to? And I'm not saying a New Year's resolution, because I look at those this way. I'm not here for a short period of time. I'm here for a very long time, right? I'm on the 100+ train. That's my goal, way past 100. And if you listen to David Schmidt, really, we're all honestly looking around the 200. Oh man, Kathy's writing on our screen here. Let me exit out real quick. Exit out real quick here and go back in, because sorry guys, if I don't exit out of it, then those marks are going to stay on the whole time. No, Kathy, no writing on the screen. She's like, I didn't do it on purpose. I'm sorry. I didn't know. All right. So let's go back to the play. All right. So no, let me find where I was down in here. There we go. Okay.
Right now, you are letting opportunities slip away. Thousands of Canadians have already replaced their monthly salary in just a...
All right, you guys. So when you look at these different patches, they're going to incorporate into your life to help support the brain in different areas. Okay. So again, not to replace what you're doing on your own, but like I was saying, me personally, I'm looking at my life not in terms of a resolution, a short-term thing, but what do I want my quality of life to be for the rest of that life? What is my health span going to look like, not just my lifespan, right? Because you all have seen the 70-year-olds pictures in wheelchairs versus the 70-year-olds pictures in gyms. They're both 70. It's just, what are you doing on a daily basis that compounds over time to either be in the wheelchair or to be in the gym? Okay, so those are key things for you to think about for the beginning of this year, forever years to come. Okay, so let's talk about our patch integration here. We're going to spend the next 10 minutes diving deep into each of these patches. So we're going to start with our X39. That is our flagship patch. That is the one that David invented, that took 10 years in the lab. over 70 patents were obtained by him, studying at the top stem cell research facility in Ireland. Just absolutely amazing research came out of the creation of X39. If you haven't read it yet, please get with the person that invited you. They can share the clinical studies with you on X39, but 10 years it took him to make this patch. So as I mentioned earlier, the company's 21 years old. He does have 10 different patches that he's invented. We only are talking about 6 of them through this series, but know that the research is very extensive. We have over 90 clinical studies if you're interested in looking at them. But GHK is our flagship patch. And again, time-wise, we don't have much time to go into this, but if you go to PubMed and you type in GHKCU, you will find 13 pages of research on the benefits of elevating GHK. Dr. Lauren Picard discovered that peptide in the blood over 50 years ago and was researching it for years, along with many other doctors and scientists, and the benefits in the health. Again, don't have time to go into it. Go back to the YouTube channel, look at the neuro section that I did a couple years ago in the playlist, and you can see the deep dive into that. But GHK is huge when we look at cellular repairing signaling, tissue collagen support, improving your sleep quality and recovery, and reducing the inflammatory load. Okay, overloaded brains struggle to repair. We know that GHK crosses the blood-brain barrier. Not many things do that. This is a huge key component of X39. So supporting that repair with which is helping that system reset without stimulation. And know that we have studies. There's a specific study that shows brain mapping with EEGs with many participants and seeing what happens in a 3-week period of time versus a 6-week period of time. And you can see a coherent brain, a brain that is communicating left-right communication, which means increased cognition, increased memory function. The executive functions of the brain are working better. New neural pathways are being formed. New neural connections are being formed. So it's not stimulating the brain, it's supporting the signaling environment so repair can occur once overload is reduced. So you're reducing your overload by your diet, by your lifestyle, by your breath work, by your sleep. And this is working in conjunction at the same time to support the brain in these things that you're going for, right? To improve your quality of your brain's function. So Eon is our second patch we always recommend. We call this the dynamic duo. Eon was the #1 selling patch that LifeWave had until X39 hit the market 6 years ago. And the reason why is because Eon is going to support the body's stress and inflammatory response. So here's that word inflammation again. It is going to reduce the cortisol and the C-reactive proteins. It's going to support the DHE balance. It's going to promote the relaxation and resilience in your brain, but your entire body, and modulate that brain chemistry. We can see the changes on clinical studies in seconds when we look at HRV, bringing our nervous system into balance. That happens right away when you put that Eon patch on. We call it our happy patch. We call it our calm focused patch. So knowing that it's reducing inflammation, which is key, and reducing the stress in the body by helping that autonomic nervous system, that is just a key patch that you have to use on a daily basis for your brain. Again, you can use it day or night, but a stressed nervous system can't process or retain anything. So reducing the stress load is going to improve clarity without sedation. Who wants to be sedated, right? Nobody. So we want to use the Eon to be able to bring the inflammation down and bring the nervous system into balance.
Stop using to-do lists.
Come on, stop it!
I know that sounds insane, but hear me out, because I can prove the very
Now, carnosine's not a patch that many people really understand, honestly. Carnosine is a dipeptide. It's in your body. You had an abundance of it when you were younger. But we know that carnosine does a lot. It is an antioxidant that's going to support the body's protective and repair mechanisms. So protecting the brain, protecting the heart, the muscle tissue, protecting your telomeres, which determine the length of your life. Carnosine does that. It's going to help support for recovery and strength. It has huge implications in the brain. And obviously your eyes are there, so massive visual improvements as well too. But we know that carnosine is going to balance left brain, right brain hemisphere. It's going to improve communication and cognition. It's going to speed up processing time. I always say this and I kind of joke, but I'm really serious. My first PhD, it took me about 1.5 years to do that PhD. And I guess maybe I could have got through it faster if I would have really focused and spent only that time. But I, mom of 2, raising 2 kids and, having a full-time career in the industry, just, it was about 1.5 years where I got through that first PhD. My second PhD, it took me 4 months. I was like, that's the difference in carnosine. I didn't have carnosine with the first one, but I had carnosine with the second one. I couldn't believe how fast my brain was processing. And I have people tell me all the time I talk fast, and I'm really trying to talk slower tonight. I'm really trying to be mindful of that because I do get going because my brain literally is just spitting so much information out. I'm trying to calm it down and keep it slow for you guys so you can understand what I'm saying. But obviously you can definitely rewatch this. It will be back on my YouTube tonight. But knowing that carnosine is so important for the brain. So preserving the signaling integrity slows the decline over time. Alavita is another patch that a lot of people don't know a lot about, but this one is really going to support that antioxidant balance because it's going to elevate the epithalamin peptide in your pineal gland. And so that pineal gland gets calcified from all the fluoride that you've either consumed through your toothpaste or your water, or maybe some other type of personal care products or toxins in the environment. So we want to make sure we can get that calcification off that pineal gland. So increasing that epithalamin peptide is going to help support the pineal gland. And of course, help with that cellular detox. And like I mentioned earlier, elevating your own melatonin some, helping with the sleep and the circadian rhythm. And we know that it's huge in reducing oxidative and inflammatory stress in the body. So detox and sleep are foundational to memory and repair, but detox is not a cleanse, you guys. It's a daily cellular process. And that's what I think people get so hung up on, especially at the beginning of the year too. They're like, oh, it's time to do a detox. What detox are you doing? What are you doing? And I've done detoxes. I've done every one under the sun. And sometimes I do start the beginning of the year with a detox. And other times I don't. Like this year, my sister-in-law asked me, are you doing a detox? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I feel like I've really just made it more of a daily routine and the different things that I'm doing, the different practices that I have, monitoring that sleep, making sure I'm getting those hours, even with all the travel, and being more mindful of that. So this is definitely a patch to support the brain 100%. And then we have our X49, which we know helps with cognition and performance. We know it's really big in strength and stamina, cardiovascular function, that lean muscle mass, and of course supporting that bone density. We put that with our X39, and this is X49 is a daughter peptide, so it's mother-daughter peptides. But knowing that when you have physical resilience, that is going to support neurological resilience. Again, going back to that Zoom series I did, exercise, you have to have some kind of movement. I don't care if it's in your family room with cans of soup. It does not matter to me. Or if you're on a walk or if you're going for a swim, you've got to do something on a consistent basis. That's going to help not only your physical body, but your mental body. So to focus for this week, we're going to reduce the overload. So make some mindful choices. What am I going to cut out? We're going to create some safety. I'm going to take some time to breathe. I'm going to take some time to put this down and go outside and put my bare feet on the grass, whether it's cold or snowing or whatever it is. And I'm going to have some time just to be grateful and thankful and breathe in and breathe out. I'm going to calm my system. Okay. And so next week, we're going to go into how to actually detox the brain safely without overstimulation. But I do want to end tonight by just saying this. We're wrapping this up. When I look at neuroinflammation with people, sugar is the number one culprit 99% of the time. Sugar is not your friend. And sugar comes in the form of cakes and cookies and candy and all those sweets, but it also comes in the form of the bagels and the cereals and the rice and the granola and the juices and all of this stuff that you think is healthy that is actually ruining your brain and your metabolism, your whole metabolic system. And again, don't have much time to dive into this right now. We'll get into it again in the future, but that carnosine is going to help balance the glycation process, which is going to help your pancreas to function better. It's going to help you be able to keep that blood sugar at a level state, but you got to do your part. You've got to do your part. And you can tell when your face is inflamed or when it's not by looking in the mirror. When you see the jawline, you're like, okay, I'm not inflamed right now. But when you see a round face and multiple rolls, you're inflamed. And so using the patches in conjunction with these best practices is going to help your body to work its best and help your brain work its best. So please get back with the person that invited you. If you want to take a deeper dive into the patches, again, we're going to be going over them more over the coming weeks. But if you want to take a deeper dive into that, they'll be more than happy to send you the research, the studies, or even testimonials of other people that have used the patches and been able to help improve their cognition, their memory, their focus, eliminate that brain fog, and be able to have a productive mental life, which is super important, that because we're only here for a short period of time. So thank you guys for being here, and I look forward to seeing you again next week on our Zoom.